Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to St. Gabriel City Council special meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, May 11, 2021. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Liao,
Here.
Vice Mayor Ding,
Here.
Councilmember Harrington,
Here.
Councilmember Menchaca,
Here.
Councilmember Pu.
Here.
Okay, great. So we'll start with some announcements from our clerk.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and our online platforms. Please email all public comments to cityclerk@sgch.org no later than the conclusion of the public comment period. Comments will be read for up to 3 minutes each. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive City Council agendas, please email your request to cityclerk@sgch.org. Item 1, public comment. This time is set aside for members of the public to address the City Council on items on this agenda. Mayor, at this time, we have not received any public comments.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Interviews of applicants for city commissions. Applicants will be interviewed to fill the vacant and expiring seats on the Civil Service, Community Services, Design Review, Historic Preservation and Cultural Resource, and Planning Commissions. At the conclusion of the interviews, Council will consider making appointments for 1-year and 2-year terms.
Okay. Council, we will have 15 minutes to interview each candidate. A 5-minute element has been added in between each candidate interview to prevent overlaps. The clerk will provide a 5-minute warning before the 15 minutes is up. Following the last interview, we will recess and then return to deliberate on the candidates. Applicant for the Civil Service Commission, Douglas Richter. Hello, Doc. Are you there? Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Hello, man. I'm here.
Okay, I want to thank you for your taking time and initiative to serve and appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is a live stream on cable channel 3 and our online platforms. Okay, so I think you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Doug Richter. I'm first interviewer.
Yes, go ahead. Well, you know, we want to ask you questions first, and each council has a different question for you. And I think I'm going to take this order throughout the whole night. We don't have to rotate. We don't have to change the order. So the first one will be Vice Mayor Dean. You have a question for Doug?
Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you. Doug, thank you to apply the Civil Service Commission. Yeah. My question: do you have the any experience for the either size employee and the employer? Both sides. You have any experience?
Well, I was both an employee and employer. I was at 43 years working with Caltrans, and 25 of those years I was a supervisor, and I had anywhere from 2 to a half a dozen people working for me. So I have had some experience in both. Yeah.
Okay. So you should be understand the employee and the employer both sides. They are interested, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And next one is Councilmember Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Doug, for applying. I like when people step up to serve the community. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to know your experience. You know, we have 4 bargaining units. Your experience either as a union member or possibly dealing with union members or represented employees.
I was in the union, the CalPERS, excuse me, not, PEG, as a, more as an employer, or employee than employer. That's the only thing. I never worked as a job steward or had anything really, never got involved in any meeting or anything special on concerning employee problems with the union.
That's like a what, like an employer, like a professional organization or professional union?
Yeah, Professional Engineers of California Government.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Next one is Councilwoman Menchaca.
Hello, Doug. I
Hello.
too I wanted to thank you for applying. But my question is, what motivated you to apply now? 'Cause my understanding by reading your application, you've never served on a commission at the city. So what prompted you, or what motivated you to apply to this one in particular?
Well, as if you've looked at my form there, I did work for the city as a volunteer in the engineering department for about 6 months a year, whatever it was. And due to health conditions, I can no longer perform that, whatever you would call that form of work anymore. So I can still sort of sit in a commission, and that's about it. I can't run around too much anymore.
Okay,
So
well,
that's why I
thank you.
decided to go into this, for the commission.
Yeah, it won't be as hard labor like you used to do with our
Right.
public works. So, well, thank you for finding new ways to stay engaged. That was all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one is Councilmember Pu.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Doug, for applying and being willing to serve. I'd like to ask, sort of along the lines of what Councilwoman Menchaca was asking, what motivates you to want to serve for this particular commission, the Civil Service Commission?
Well, as I mentioned in my application there, like I said, I worked for over 40 years with Caltrans, and I saw a lot of harassment and favoritism going on in Caltrans, and there wasn't much I could do about it at that point. So I thought this way, working with the city, I could give everybody an equal and fair chance at their job, wherever it is.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate the honest answer there.
Okay, well, thank you. I think with your personal experience working for Caltrans for such a long time, of course, you witness some kind of unfair treatment for some employees. But anyway, how much time are you willing to spend on this Civil Service Commission?
Well, from what I understand, this commission is only called into action when there's somebody that actually has a problem. So it's not like one of the planning commissions or the HERE commission where you have a meeting every week or every 2 weeks. So I can't see why I wouldn't have any problem, whatever comes up. But from what I've heard in the last year, there hasn't been too many problems coming up. So, but like I said, I shouldn't be more than an hour or two or more at any one meeting.
I see.
Hopefully. I don't know for sure, since I've never been on one.
Well, as I understand, the previous commissioner, they didn't meet, for the past couple of years. But anyway, yeah, you chose the right one. But do you have anything to tell, City Council about other things that you want to tell us? Your qualification, your passion to serve the community? Well,
Like I said, I've worked over 40 years for Caltrans, and in those 40 years, I've never had any problem with a suit coming against me for harassment or disciplinary action of any kind. So hopefully, I'm sort of neutral on the fence, not on one side or the other. That's about all I could say.
Thank you. So I think this concludes the interview, and we'll recess until next interview scheduled at 6:50. So we still have like 7 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll recess until 6:50 for the next. The next person is Ting Si. She applied for a community service commission. So I guess we'll just wait till 6:50. Jonathan? Applicant for the Community Service Commission is Tim Shi. Hello, Tim. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Nice to see you tonight. I just want to thank you for taking the time and initiative to serve, and appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and our online platforms. So, I think we have plenty of time. Maybe you want to say a few words about yourself first before council asking questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everyone. My name is Ting Xie. I'm a resident of St. Gabriel for 4 years already. I live right next to Smith Park. I have 2 little Pomeranians. So I walk them 3 times every day to the Smith Park. And I also participated in many of the St. Gabriel events and activities. I really loved our neighborhood and hope I can contribute in my own way to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll call each council member to ask their question, and I don't want to rotate, so it will be same order like the previous one. So first one is Vice Mayor Dean. You have a question for her?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, the team to welding apply the community service commissioner. That's a commissioner used to I serve too. Okay. All right. I saw your applicant as you say you also you mentioned you already participate a lot with our city event, park the event. So because city always looking for the new improvement. So you think is there any the new idea to let our community service for the park it's more better quality life?
In fact, I participated in many of the events through AYC, some of the volunteer events, and also some neighbor cities events like food drive away. In terms of city of St. Gabriel, I actually find we have a lot of events, but as a resident of 4 years, I didn't really aware. For instance, at the beginning of my when I started to live in St. Gabriel, I was driving all the way to Monterey Park to use their facility to swim. And not until like 2-3 years later, I find out, oh, the Smith Park swimming pool is actually open to our residents. So you only thing you need to do is pay a very small amount of a membership fee, so you can use the facility for your whole family. I was so surprised and happy that our city provide this kind of facility and service. And also, I think there may be many of other residents just like me who lived in here for a long time but doesn't know, not aware of some of the services that they can take advantage of. So maybe I think maybe our city can put more efforts to on promoting those projects, so more of our members, our residents can benefit from those projects. Because I know we do have so many wonderful events like the Lunar New Year Festival. That was a great one. Every time we have so many residents and even people from other cities coming to participate, watch the performance and enjoy the food. But also like those service kind of activities, maybe we just need more members to get involved, either by social media or just neighbor talk to their neighbors. So we are all involved and can participate in those programs. And our budgets can be fully utilized and the facilities can be better utilized as well.
Okay. Thank you, team. Yeah, thank you for your hopefully you had your participation have more like your opinion, your suggestion for our city and the outreach for our community event too. Okay.
Thank you. I will try my best.
Okay. Thank you, the mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Next one is Councilmember Hampton.
Thank you, Mayor. Also, thank you, Ting, for applying. I wanted to know, I know the last year has been challenging for the city because we've really had to kind of refigure out how to engage the community. If you're placed on the Community Services Commission, what do you see your role as far as, I know you went into a minute ago on your answer about the things the city can do, but what about you personally? Like, what would you see your role as a commissioner?
My personal contribution, I think, first of all, I'm a supply chain manager in a electrical wholesale factory in downtown LA. I'm always dealing with complex projects, processes, or organizations. So with optimization, I have a master in industrial system and systems engineering, and I always have optimization in mind, which enables me to always look for opportunities to reduce waste in our labor, material, other resources, to which doesn't produce any of the products. And also, I'll look for process improvements that I can make sure our projects or programs plan out smoothly and more effectively. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that because, you know, a lot of times, while we do actually as a city try to be efficient, sometimes a fresh set of eyes on things, we can improve our processes, we can always get better. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And next is from Councilwoman Menchaca.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, Ting. I also want to express my appreciation in having you, in applying. I know you've been very active in all our activities, pre and even during COVID. I know I've seen you out there trying to do whatever you can during our virtual events. And I also agree with you that we have a fabulous community services department. That's what I understood when you were sharing your perceptions of our city and all the programs that we do offer. You don't need to go to any adjacent cities. I won't mention their names, but you don't need to do that. If you would be selected as a commissioner, I wanted to kind of a two-part question. The first question is, have you viewed any of the commission meetings? Have you had a chance to view them? They're online, or maybe when they were live, you had a chance to attend? And whether yes or no, how would you see yourself, if you were part of the commission? What would you bring extra to the commission as one of 5 members?
Okay. First of the question, if I ever attended any of the community meetings, I didn't really attend any of them live, but I listened to many of them when I'm on my way to work and on my way back to work. Yeah, that's how I know we have so many fabulous activities and programs in the community service. And the second question is what I can bring to the commission if I'm ever selected. I would say first of all is my experience as a supply chain manager, that I can help the programs or activities to be more efficient and use the budget more wisely, that achieve maximum outcome with a set of resources. Second is that with my I'm a person good at listening to people. I made a lot of friends through participating in the community events and volunteering. They always some of them, they don't speak English. So sometimes if they have any questions, they will come to me and they will ask me, and if there's any way I can help them out with their questions, and I will ask other friends who is either connected with the city or some organizations to help them out with those questions to get problem solved. So I think that's another part I can bring to the commission, that I'm willing to listen to what our community members have to say, and have empathy for them, and to provide, to pass policies and create programs that they are interested and will participate in the future.
Great. Thank you for that, team.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question is coming from Councilmember Pu.
Thank you, Mayor. And it's nice to meet you, Ting. Thank you for applying and being willing to serve on the Community Services Commission. And thank you for also mentioning the Lunar New Year Festival and enjoying that event. It makes us all very happy that that's something that you enjoy, and that you think that the community really enjoys as well. So other than that event, can you name some of the other city events that you've participated in and really enjoy?
Other events initiated by the city or just happened in the city?
I think, yeah, official city events that are part of our sort of year-round, well, pre-COVID, obviously, our year-round community engagement calendar.
I heard about the movie nights, but I never get the chance to. Recently I went to the Coffee with a Cop event. I don't know if that counts as a city event. I met with many of our police officers and get to know them and make friends. And also in the last 3 months, I have been to many of the Stop Asian Hate Rally in the St. Gabriel City, and where I met many of our residents, and also even friends coming from different cities to show their empathy for what's happening to the Asian community, and the voice their concerns for the Asian hate situation in the U.S. I really appreciated that, and that's, I guess, it's another motive for me to be a community service commissioner, that I can give back to the community in the way I can. And then other city events, I also know about the vaccination that our community service department is partnering with local clinics to serve our members during this COVID time, or whoever is inconvenient to go to further places. But I didn't get that one because I guess I wasn't eligible when I was attempting, and then later I just scheduled with some other stores.
That's fine. Any way you can get vaccinated, right? And so thank you. That's actually a really nice long list. And just one follow-up question, Mayor, if I may. I see your resume says that you're proficient in English and Mandarin. So do you speak any other dialects of Chinese other than Mandarin?
Yeah, I speak Chongqing dialects.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Chongqing, okay.
Maybe not that many people speak Chongqing dialects here, though, so I don't know if I can be of any help, but yeah, let me know if you need my help.
You'd be the first person I ask when if I go to Chongqing Hot Pot.
Yeah, welcome. It's a beautiful place. Welcome, all of you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, team. So as a matter of fact, we have many Chongqing restaurants in city of St. Gabriel. So as you know, St. Gabriel is a very well diverse community. We have many events for the past 6-7 years through the efforts from our community service commissioner and the staff. So yeah, from your cultural background, do you think we or you can bring in another new I would call it a new what is the right word? Cultural heritage event to the city of St. Gabriel. We have several already, but do you see, is there a new one that you like to bring to the city of St. Gabriel?
I think so, because China with so long of history, 3,000 years AC and 3,000 years what is it? BD? There are so many things we can bring to the table. That's another thing. When I was looking for a house to live in the area, I was thinking about the schools. And recently I just learned about that our school also offers dual language immerse programs that enables our kids to not only learn English, but also their mother language at the school. Because I think this is happening to a lot of immigrant families, that they come to the States and they get familiar with the language and the States culture, but they just forget about their where their roots were and the culture behind it. I think that's really a shame. There could be so much more they can learn and inherited it from where their mother country. So yeah, definitely, I think we can do so much more to bring more the culture and then the knowledge as well, and maybe the language.
Okay, well, language program. Yeah, thank you. Do you, well, let me see what time. Yeah, we still have 7 minutes. Do you have any more to tell us that, maybe your background, your the time that you grew up, and also you live in the city of St. Gabriel, and what's your vision for the future of St. Gabriel?
I actually always talking to my husband about maybe we can do like a Christmas light, like one little street with a Christmas light, like what they're doing San Marino or um, and the city further north. But I've been thinking about it, even talking to my some of my electrical suppliers who offers lighting that they can sponsor for those events. But I'm just still looking which street will be the best to do to have this kind of event, because where they have those events, they have really big trees, and then they have the bigger roads that they can accommodate many people to park aside and stop and to take pictures and enjoy time with their family. But St. Gabriel streets is kind of narrow, and we don't really have streets with bigger trees like that. So maybe I was thinking that we can put in the Mission District where we wanted to bring business in, and also and I've been hanging out a lot in the Mission District. I think many of the really historical buildings that's empty in the area. I feel it's such a waste of those lovely place, and also they can be so many good use, such as the wedding venue, or like a museum or something to bring revenue for the city, and also bring attractions to the city. Because so far right now, I think there's only the boba shop that's bring people in, and also the playhouse for many of those performance. But I think that area can be more vibrant than it is now, and we can think of more ways to better take advantage of what we have, those history of St. Gabriel.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. And I think we were done with your interview. Yeah, thank you for applying.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So we'll go to next interview with Catherine Cordero at the time 7:10. So we have 4 minutes. You're going to do the same thing again. Thank you for applying for this commission. It's the Community Service Commission. And yeah, for your taking time and initiative to serve, and appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. So just to remind you, tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and also our online platforms. And before each city council going to ask you a question, I think we'll give you maybe just a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, as you all know, my name is Catherine Cordero, and I've been living in San Gabriel for approximately 20 years, going on 20 years. I have 2 sons, 21 and, well, will soon be in a couple of weeks, 21 and 24. And both of them have attended the San Gabriel Unified School District schools. I've been active throughout my time. And when the boys were in school, I was involved in PTA, the Gabrielino Site Council, Gabrielino Boosters Club. Both of my boys are Eagle Scouts, so I was involved in Troop 266 Boy Scouts. And the last thing I was involved with San Gabriel was the San Gabriel Educational Foundation. I was a board member, and I'm retired now. I worked for the City of Los Angeles Department of Water and Power 25 years, 10 years with the Los Angeles Police Department, so 35 years altogether. And I have some experience with how government works, the policies and procedures. Being a management analyst, I was a contract administrator and various different roles, crime analyst. So I have experience also with paying attention to a lot of detail and accounting.
Okay. All right, thank you. So the first question is coming from Vice Mayor Dean.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Catherine, to apply the commission, the Community Service Commission. So I'm glad you're interested in that because I'm used to the Community Service Commissioner too. Okay, so question is, did you have to participate any our city current program event you participate, or what's your experience, and what do you think it's any the suggestion for the improvement?
Let me see if I understood your question. If I have been involved in any city, if I participated in any city activity?
Yes.
Event?
Yes.
Oh. Well, the most recent would be the San Gabriel Educational Foundation and assisting with putting that on fundraisers. And actually, I was helping with the accounting, and I was involved with quite a few things with Cephalopalooza and different events that that CEF participated in.
Okay. Beside the CEF, did you have any participate our city sponsored event?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
The city.
I know that. Yeah, you mentioned it's CEF. I understand it, but did you have any another event you participate? For example, I know the 4th of July, something like that.
A drive?
For the child pray.
Not sure I understand.
Okay.
Just well, basically helping when I was a part of
Okay.
Gabrielino, assisting with all the fundraisers and
Okay.
and
right,
the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
Quite a bit with the Boy Scouts. That took many, many years.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, and next question is from City Council Member Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor, and also thank you, Catherine, for applying. I just wanted to know, if selected as a commissioner for the Community Services Commission, what do you bring to the group as an individual? Like, for example, what skills do you have? Do you think that would really help the city engage the community?
And that was the key question right there, engage the community. I have a lot of enthusiasm, and I feel it's important to participate and be engaged with your community and give back, as well as take responsibility to the events in your own city. Going back to Seth, getting involved with all the different fundraisers and events to do with the youth. My experience in my career is very, it has in a lot of different areas. I was fortunate to be a management analyst for the city of Los Angeles. So I was able to participate in different programs that the city would have. One of them was the Adopt a School, and how important it is to have children involved. And being that I love my city, San Gabriel, I think it's a beautiful city, and I would love it to continue to be that way. But that's also important for us as citizens to participate and make sure that does happen. So I think the key thing is enthusiasm and want people to get involved. But I also think it's important to be accountable ourselves as well as our government. And that experience I bring from my career, as I said, I have a lot of experience with being an analyst and in crime and in administration, contracts. And I think that's why it's important to follow policy and procedure, but also know when to correct the policy and procedure and improve it, and for the citizens. So I think I can bring that to this position.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. So next question is coming from Councilwoman Menchaca.
Yes. Thank you, Catherine, for being here and for stepping up. We always appreciate that. Hopefully you can hear me with my dogs barking on the background.
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, good. So maybe you can move over to council member. Oh, no. Come back to me. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Okay. Take a break. So this question is from Council Member Pooh.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Nice to meet you, Catherine, and thank you for applying and taking the time to interview for the Community Services Commission. I was curious about the Adopt a School program that you mentioned in the city of LA. Could you give us a little bit more detail on that? And then are there other programs from the city of LA that you think might be a good fit for our community?
Okay, well, the Adopt a School program was enjoyable. It was fun to be able to participate in the classroom. We would have fundraisers for the schools. They were mostly they were inner city schools, and we would gather books from all of our employees. But we would also have time where we would designate on a rotation basis, going to the classrooms, talking about our careers. I worked with an engineering company, so the different areas, so to motivate the children for higher education, and also read to them, and so to encourage enthusiasm for reading the first step in the education and to be able to learn just about everything through reading. Other school programs, well, we had internship programs, and that was basically done where we had two different programs actually. One's an internship program, and when you're in college, you got to be a certain level, and different levels you were paid at a different rank, salary, and basically the GPA was not looked at because it was a matter of encouraging people to come to the workforce, and that your GPA could be corrected, but it was coming out and learning and helping and getting experience, but also learning for themselves what it is to be out in the business world. Now there was another program also, but that was through the city as a whole, not Water and Power. The first one was Water and Power with the internships. The other one was basically coming in and being student aides. So working, filing, doing those type of things. One was more career minded, and the other one was more youth minded for the children to come in and understand what it is to get out of whatever neighborhoods, come into the workforce.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So I see Councilwoman Menchaca is back.
I'm back. My apologies. So Catherine, again, really appreciate you stepping up and applying for this commission. As you may or may not know, the meetings at the commission are live streamed right now, and most likely will be streamed even after we get through this pandemic. My first question is, have you ever listened to any of the commission meetings? And then the second part of that question is, whether you have or not, what do you think is the biggest challenge for a commission like this, and what makes you unique, maybe from some of the other commissioners that you can bring to the table? For example, the fact that you've been so involved with the Boy Scouts, that you've been so involved with staff, I think that kind of sets you apart, but maybe there's some other things that you haven't really shared yet with us.
I will definitely have to say that I have not listened to a commissioner's meeting. You're referring to the community services commissioners
Yes.
meeting? Yes.
Yes.
No, I have not. I'm sorry to say. So I'm not familiar with what experience other people have. But as for myself, I feel that I could bring, as a commissioner, a couple of things where, going back to paying attention to detail because of the different positions I had, I am able to analyze, but I believe the position itself is a one of an overseer, oversees the type of budgets or contracts or type of things that the community services is involved in. And with my background, understanding how to dive into the details and asking the questions and speaking up, I think I could bring that to as a commissioner. And going back to enthusiasm, there were a lot of events, from what I read, that are involving the city, of course, and all these events the community services puts together, I think are fantastic, and they deserve recognition, and they deserve to be publicized. And I do agree. I do believe that I could help in that area. More publicity, more people being aware of what we have. I think people hear about it, but they don't understand how easy it is to get involved. And I would like to help with that part of it.
Great. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, thank you. Catherine, I want to thank you for serving SAP because I used to be on the SAP too. Yeah, I'm also
I
very,
remember seeing you at Zapapalooza every
yes,
time.
all the time. But we want to help our schools and adopt the school program is a great program. Actually, it's been around a long time. It's called the Junior Achievements, and I volunteer for those programs too. However, to bring into our program in community service, I don't know, because it's pretty much individual, willing to go to classes and talking to the kids and about their professions and that kind of stuff. But my question to you is, the city is always looking for new ways to improve the overall quality of life. So in your opinions, what kind of things that you can bring into the this community service program to foster community development and improve in overall the quality of life? So any things that you can think of.
I very, very much support youth, children, and we have a number of disadvantaged youth in San Gabriel, and I would like to see and be a part of, whether it's spearheading it or being on the committee of more involvement in children's lives, as far as that. My concern is the foster children, and especially during the pandemic, I feel that they're falling through the cracks, and but even afterwards, there are many children are going to be behind. Even children with parents, the children will be behind. So I think that San Gabriel could reach out more, maybe more after school programs, or connecting with our businesses to fund these programs, but more involvement, and where in science, we're making it fun and bringing in the foster children where they need help in education. So it's a complicated issue, and I don't have the answers. It would take a committee to figure that out. But so many children need our help, and I feel that there's a number of them, a large number in San Gabriel, and that is something that I would like to get involved in, either aside from the commission or part of that as part of the community services department.
That's great. I'm so touched to hear this, and because these children are really, being through a tough time in their lives at a younger age. So yeah, they do need our help. But however, I don't know if our community service can provide that sort of a service. But I'm grateful that you also involved with Eagle Scouts. So it's a lot of work already. But in the future, I think you can bring those programs to the city. I know the church is always involved with that, mission and other Catholic church and other Christian church. But so you know that you've been doing that for years. But okay, thank you so much. You have any words that you want to say about serving this commission?
Does this conclude?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity, for accepting my application. And I hope that I am selected. And if so, that I can do a fantastic job to make all of you proud of me, but also my family and the city. And I look forward to that time that I find out and getting involved.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Hi, good evening. I want to thank you for taking time and initiative to serve and appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and also on our online platforms. So, the procedure is if you want to introduce yourself and say, things where you grew up, where you go to school, and that kind of stuff, and just for a couple of minutes, then the city council will ask your question individually. So for now, you want to introduce yourself to us?
Yes, my name is Fang Li. I live in the city of San Gabriel for over 15 years, and I working for the city of Los Angeles as a transportation engineer. I have a state license for traffic engineer, and I've been in the United States as an immigrant from the country of Burma for over 20 years. And I like to involve in the community that I live in, so I'm applying for this commission position.
Thank you, thank you. So the first question is coming from our Vice Mayor, Dean. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, thank you to Apply Design Review Commission. My question is, what do you see as the Design Review Commissioner role in the helping preserve the future of the city?
So what we see as the design commissioner is, like when you going to review the development that's going to happen in the city of San Gabriel, either commercial or residential, you're going to be looking at from the perspective of, architecture, color, materials, and then landscaping. So what I see is, so the job or the duty of the commissioner is to carry out the visions of the city. So that the vision of the city, that is set forth by the council, like Mr. Ding, like Mr. Liao, and then Jason, and then Denise, and so on. Right. So these visions to be diversity, to inclusive, to improve the infrastructure, and then and then to be business friendly. So the commissioner's duty is to carry out or to make it better or improve for the city of San Gabriel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next question is from Council Member Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Fang, for applying. I wanted to know your familiarity. What do you think is the biggest challenges for development in San Gabriel as far as design?
So the biggest challenge, I haven't get involved in the San Gabriel, right? What I see, but I can use the experience from the city of Los Angeles. So the biggest challenge is there's a lot of loops to go through to get a permit. So that is the first step in the city of Los Angeles, right? So you have to go and apply for different bureaucracy, different departments to get a proper permit. And then on top of that, you have to there's a lot of stringent rules and then guidelines to actually build the to get a proper permit. So that is one of the challenges I see. So as a commissioner, probably what we can, right, as a commissioner to advise on the council is to make it a little more easy for the process, and also to be strict on the visions that the council has for the city of San Gabriel.
Great, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. So next question is from our Councilwoman Menchaca.
Thank you. Thank you, Fang, for being here. Appreciate when people step up to serve and be civically engaged. My first question is the two-part question. Have you ever watched or listened to any of the design review commission meetings? They will be, they're going to continue to be streamed even after COVID, but that was my first part of my question. And then the second part of the question is whether you've seen them or not, why do you think it's so important to have a design review commission? Clearly you have an understanding what they do, but personally, why do you think it's important to have the right people serving on the commission?
The first part of your question, yes, I have watched it. Before I have watched the design commissions or the planning commissions, I have watched you guys. I have watched the council, the meetings and stuff, because I kind of like getting involved with the communities, and also I want to understand about the San Gabriel, right? So I have watched about the planning commission as well as the design commission. And the second part of your question is, why is it important to have the right people? So it is the same thing as like your health, right? You want to have the right doctor to operate on you. I said the same thing for City of San Gabriel. You have a vision, and you want to have a healthy, financially and a healthy San Gabriel. So you want to have the right people at the right post to guide you and to help you and to bring about the improvement that you want. So to answer your short question, yes, you need the right people at the right positions.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So next question coming from Council Member Pu.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Fung, for applying and being willing to serve on the Design Review Commission. As a transportation and traffic engineer, do you have any recommendations for us here in the city of San Gabriel? And if so, what might those be?
Yes, I have. I think I have communicated with you, Jason, and then Janice about some of the locations previously. Maybe you might not remember me, but I have talked to you guys. So some of the locations we can improve, right? Some of the locations, if we have the funding or if we can get the grant or something, that we can improve a lot in synchronization, as well as some of the left turns, some of the the congested corridors and stuff. So that is what I see, and that is what being a resident of the San Gabriel, that we can improve on those stuff. I touch base on my experience as being a transportation engineer with the city of Los Angeles. I've been with the city of Los Angeles for over 15 years. The first 10 years of my employment there is as a designer. So I'm bringing to the table my design experience, like so looking at from the perspective of a designer, right? Understanding the regulations, understanding the regulatory bodies, the local laws and then guidelines and the stuff. And then the next 3 years, I've been with the city of Los Angeles. I'm like as a supervisor, I say a plan reviewer. So I review the plans. I know the end game, looking at the details, understanding the safety, economics or the convenience of the design. So that is from the design review perspective. And then currently I'm holding as a project manager position. So as it being a project manager, you have to understand the whole ball game of it, right? So you have to understand from the design team, from the construction team, from the local politicians' needs or requests, and then from the community requests. So currently I'm working on a project called Take Back the Boulevard in the Eagle Rock area. I'm not quite sure you guys are familiar with that. It is a huge project in terms of the dollar amount, and I'm overseeing that project, and it has a lot of players involved, and not only from the council office, from the communities, and from controlling the quality of the project. So I'm bringing in some of my technical backgrounds to the table.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Fan. And so, by the way, how much is that project?
The project is a $12 million project. It has two grants. One is from the Metro ATP project. The other one is called Metro Call Project 2015. So two grants for that project.
Okay, I think I've heard about that project. But anyway, City of San Gabriel also received $25 million from Major R. So we want to improve our traffic signals too. So maybe in the future it can help us too. But I have a question for you, because you applied for design review commission, and so you're going to face a lot of developers, and maybe not all developers are very friendly. We are business friendly, but they are not, and maybe their attitude kind of offends you, and because maybe they have bad history with the city before. So how do you handle a situation like that? How are you going to work with the developer that just have bad experience? And so how do you handle that?
So everybody has their own goal, right? So from a developer perspective, they wanna build based on their budget, based on what they need, right? So especially the last design commissions, I was smiling when one of the commissioner was making a comment about 2-car garage in the back, and instead of they say another car garage attached to the main buildings, right? So I was smiling. I was thinking like, oh, okay, maybe they're gonna make a comment about renting it out. So sure enough, one of the commissioners made a comment and say, asking them, hey, are you guys planning to make to rent it out that addition to the back? So to make my point is that developers have their own goal or whatever they're trying to achieve, right? So, but you have to stay firm with our regions, with the San Gabriel, right? But the thing is that you cannot be too firm because it's gonna break the relationship. So in order to do that, you have to work together, like a compromise. The same thing as my project that I'm working on, like a community has their own voice, community has their own regions, and then council office or our, the project, the grant has their own scope, right? So we have to work together, compromise, having the meetings, regular meetings, having like constant communication, try to build a some kind of relationship with the key players. So the key players in this case is the developers and the consultants, right, for the design review commissions. So having a relationship and then having an open-minded to have a compromise will be the key.
Okay, thank you. Very well said. Do you have anything else you want to tell us besides all these questions we asked?
Is that all the questions? So this is the,
yeah, that's all the 5 questions from 5 members. But do you?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to close it up with why I want to for this position, right? So the reason I apply for this position is I know there's no monetary compensation for it. It is just a voluntary work. But the reason is that I want to involve in the community and then also in the capacity that I can, right? So the capacity that I have, I just explained it to you all, is that I have a technical background, I have the experience, right? So that the ability, the experience that I can help out with the community, right? I have the drive to that I want to help. And the other thing is that, you know, like I want to teach my kids to get involved in the community, in the society. You know, like as I'm not quite sure you guys are aware of it, as a agents, they kind of like stay back and they keep quiet on these things, right? So that I want to teach them. I want to be a role model to my kids. And so that is a drive I have to help with the community and also to, you know, to be a role model for my kids. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, and thank you again for your interest in serving our city. I guess that's all the questions we have for you. So we'll let you know. Have a good
Okay.
night.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, Jody. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time and initiative to serve and your interest to be civically engaged. And I think you're applying for a design review commission, right? Yeah. So, well, you know, every city council has a question for you. But before we ask you questions, can you tell us, you know, maybe in a few brief sentences about yourself so we can get to know you better?
Sure. I am a longtime San Gabriel and San Gabriel Valley resident. I went to school and grew up in Alhambra. So I saw all the changes there, especially in Main Street. Got married, bought a house, and moved to San Gabriel about 6 years ago. Very excited to see all the changes that are potentially going to happen. In my day job, I am a finance manager for a multi-million-dollar insurance consulting firm. And yeah, I mean, you know, devoted husband, soon to be father, and, you know, want to just love my city, and I just want to be involved.
Thank you, Jody. I think the first question is coming from our Vice Mayor, Dean. Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Judy. Do you like want to volunteer for the Design Review Commission? Okay, my question is, what do you see as the Design Review Commissioner role in the helping preserve the future of the city?
Okay. I believe I'm not entirely sure all the intricacies of the commission and of the position, but based on my understanding is they would review building designs for commercial and real, you know, residential buildings in the city. So like I said in the beginning, I grew up in Alhambra. So in the 90s, I've seen a lot of things come and go, especially now. Main Street, like a lot of my hangouts are all gone. And that's good. And that's also bad. And when I moved to San Gabriel, I just remember when I was a kid, San Gabriel was always kind of like, well, maybe we were in Alhambra, so we thought we were better. But just when I came to San Gabriel, my thought was always it's kind of old fashioned. It's old. You know, you go down San Gabriel Boulevard, there was a bowling alley we used to go hang out with at night, and across the street, you know, all these places. And then, you know, as I grew older, so did these buildings. So now that I live here, I'm like, okay, I'm excited. I saw the change in Alhambra and I want to be part of this in San Gabriel. But at the same time, it's like sometimes it feels like the change is too slow. But at the same time, I don't want like a quick overhaul too, that it kind of, you know, takes away from what's important with the city. So I think there's a fine balance in that. And like I said, I just want to be involved and, you know, try to be involved with what's going on, basically.
Thank you. Okay, well, next question is coming from Council Member Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Jody, for applying. So I like the fact that you have kind of compared and contrasted where Alhambra was, where San Gabriel was, and where we're going. What do you see as the biggest challenges as far as developing in a mature city like San Gabriel that's already built out?
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple of things. One is that it's predominantly Asian. So not that that's a challenge, but it might be hard for commercial commercial companies to want to move in and set up shop here. You know, I mean, I'm treasurer for our HOA, and I live really close to San Gabriel. I'm in Mission Walk. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but right in front, there's supposed to be this huge, you know, residential mixed use commercial area called Pacific Square. And I remember I was in every single one of those meetings when they came through, and I see the excitement. But after, like I said, I lived here like 6 years, it doesn't seem like anything is happening. And I know it goes through all these different commissions and environmental, you know, stuff. But I feel like if a large enough company wanted to come in, it would have been done by now. You know what I mean? Like if, I don't know, like a Trader Joe's or a Porto's, this was before they opened in West Covina, something like that would have come in, like a Ralph's. It would have been done much sooner. But, you know, I assume from the outside that a lot of those big companies, they're like, hey, we can't get enough. You know, I mean, there's a reason why there's like 5 Chinese supermarkets down the street, but there isn't a Ralph's. You know, I have to go to Temple City for that. So I would assume that would be a challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next question is from our Councilwoman Menchaca.
Welcome, Jody.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for stepping up. We really appreciate residents who are willing to be engaged. We need you. My question is two-part. The first one is, have you ever watched or listened any of the Design Review Commission meetings? You know, if you would be selected, they will continue to be streamlined. People can continue to watch you, so you can't be shy. Hopefully you know that people will be listening. And the second part is, if you have, or even if you haven't watched, what particular expertise do you think you bring to this commission? I understand, I'm from Alhambra too originally, so I understand the changes that have taken place. I understand that you live right in the smack of the area where there's going to be significant development all down San Gabriel Boulevard. But was there any other expertise that you haven't mentioned yet, maybe, that you can bring to the commission? So it's
Okay.
2 parts.
All right, part number 1, no, I haven't watched any, and I hope you don't fault me. I didn't even know these things. You can watch these things. I've been involved in a few, you know, I've gone to a few meetings when people can actually go out, but I didn't know you can watch these. So no, I didn't know that's a thing. And as far as what else I could bring, I am, a business professional. I've worked over, 22 years, corporations big and small, project management. That's kind of like my thing, I have a vast group of individuals that work with me and under me in various cities and various states. So I think somebody with that experience, I'm assuming, I don't know how many people are in the commission, but just like with anything, it would be compromise and, getting people to work together.
Great. Thank you so much, Jody.
Thank you. Thank you. So another question is from Council Member Pu.
Thank you, Mayor. And hi, Jody. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for applying and for taking the time to do this interview process, be willing to serve on the DRC. And just FYI, that project in front of your development there is still moving forward and in process. Of course, the pandemic has put a dent in a lot of developers' plans, but as you can see with things improving and other projects around the city, things are starting to move forward again. And my question is related to that. Are there any examples of recent developments other than your own, where you live, the Mission Walk, that where you actually think the design is good and that you really like it?
Yeah, I really like, I don't know if it's downtown, but Monterey Park, right out of the freeway on Atlantic. I was here on the ground floor before Edwards, yeah, I got Alhambra in my mind. Before that AMC was there, it's Atlantic Square, before that was there. And now they have that nice hotel on the right side, if you're going south. And I remember when that was a car wash I used to go to. So I used to always think Monterey Park was like, how do I be politically correct here? But kind of like really old fashioned and like the streets were tight. But now when you drive down there, you kind of see, oh, wow, it's nice. And it's kind of like that too through Valley, through San Gabriel. I know there's a lot of developments on there. So like I said, I'm like excited for the city, for this valley, from Pasadena on. And at times it just seems like things go a little slower than they should, but that's why I want to be on the inside to kind of find out why. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's a reason why things are getting done. It's not, nobody wants to see all these half-built lots. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
sure. I guess there are no examples in San Gabriel of recent developments that you think are good.
I mean, you mean as far as buildings are concerned? I mean, my Mission Walk was great. No complaints there. I love that it took longer than I thought it would, but the train going, through Mission, I think that took like 2 or 3 years of felt like 10 years driving through that traffic, but now it looks beautiful. So I like that. So I understand you can't have all the same constructions at the same time. Right down San Gabriel from Las Tunas to Valley, it looks like there's going to be about 3 developments. So I get with like traffic situations and things like that, but I'm just excited to see what, my city's going to look like in 5 years, 10 years.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, there are about 6 big development projects on Valley Boulevard right now. And on San Gabriel Boulevard, I think there are 4 large development projects, including the one in front of you, the Pacific Square. Actually, you can walk to a supermarket. And I'm sure the developer still wants to bring in Aldi supermarket, but also fitness center. So, you will enjoy shopping and enjoy doing exercise just in that plaza. I have a question for you, because if you're a commissioner, you're probably going to deal with all different kinds of developers. And if this developer bring in a low quality plan that you think, oh, well, it needs a lot of work and you're not happy, because the project is not compatible with the neighborhood. So what would you do?
I would discuss this with my counterparts who are obviously going to be more experienced and in this situation. I listen to everybody's perspective on things, and then I would definitely voice my opinion and give my opinion. But at the same time, I don't think I don't think I'm in a position where I could say yes or no to something. I don't know if I even have that power. I'm not even quite familiar with how the commission works, but at times I would defer, obviously, to my more senior counterparts, and when needed, you'll definitely hear from me. I'm opinionated.
That's good. That's good. We like your passion about our community. So I think that's all the questions from a city council member. Maybe I think you still have a couple minutes you want to say for closing comments, or you want to say anything that you want to tell us?
Well, just that, I don't know how many people or how often you do this looking for new commissioners and such, but I think before COVID started, I saw a tweet and I was like, I saved that tweet. I was telling my wife, I was like, oh, I'm going to go do this. And then, the world closed, and then, that went away. And then I saw another tweet recently, and that got me excited again because I thought the position was filled, because this is something that I'm passionate about, that I want to do, that I want to be involved in. And, I thank you guys for, picking just me out of a hat and even talking to me today. I count, I don't know, my head keeps going like this because there's like 18 people, I think. So I'm trying to see who's talking to me, but it shows that I'm not the only one that cares. You guys are doing this too. So I applaud you guys for what you've done for the city, for our city. And I hope I can be a part of that in some way.
Thank you, Jody, for applying this position. I think that's all the time we have for you. So have a good night. We will let you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe.
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you. And first of all, I want to thank you for taking time and initiative to serve, and appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and also on our online platforms. And while each city council will ask you a question individually, but for now, I think you can just introduce yourself, in a couple of minutes. If you can tell us what you do and what you were interested in applying for this position.
Well, my name is Eric Ureña. I've been a resident of the city of San Gabriel for about 13 years now. I've been employed for LA County Metro for 23 and a half years now. With my time there at Metro, I've been actively involved with the union aspect of my job. So with that, I did get involved with a lot of, campaigns and rallies and things of that nature, and volunteering with certain events. I just decided that, instead of dedicating so much of my time, not just for my work, but I should dedicate some more time, to the city and give back to the city that I'm quite fond of for the time that I've been here.
Thank you. Thank you. So the first question coming from our Vice Mayor Dean. Vice Mayor, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Hi, Eric. Thank you to apply to the Design Review Commission. And my question is, what do you see as the Design Review Commission, the role in the help preserve in the future of the city?
Well, I feel that they've been doing a good job so far. I mean, I admire the city, the landscape, the cultural diversity, the historical importance of the city as a whole. I mean, there's not too many places in the world where you can just walk out with this landscape and walk down and live in history, with the playhouse and the mission and things of that nature. And so I think preserving what we have is important. I'd love to be a part of continuing being a voice for that, and expressing my pride and expressing just everything that San Gabriel has to offer.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. And another question is from our City Council member Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Eric, for applying to the commissions. I see you've applied to a few commissions. If you had a choice, which one would be your first choice as far as commissions? So I'll kind of base my question on that.
Originally, my original intent was Civil Service Commissioner was probably the first one that I really decided on. While I was applying is when the here commissioner positions did actually come up. I did apply for that, and I thank everybody for giving me the opportunity for that. But Civil Service Commissioner, I think, was my first choice. But I just want to be a part of the city at any capacity, so I just kind of took a gamble and applied for everything that was available.
Great, that's initiative. I like it. So what, I'll base it on civil service, and then it can kind of blend over, but as far as civil service, I see you do have some, you're with Metro and you have some labor, it looks like a lot of labor training. How do you think how do you think your training and your experience will benefit the city in let's say, the civil service role?
Well, with my years with Metro, a lot of the union work, I do have to deal with a lot of, arbitration or just the dealings of the day-to-day employee management interaction. So I felt like that may have been a little bit more up my alley at the time for applying for the civil service. So I hope that the experience that I have, with Metro, with the LA Fed, I did take some classes with them, and LA Trade Tech, I took a lot of labor courses there. I think that might hopefully give me what I need to adapt and to help the city with what I've gained in knowledge so far.
Great, thank you, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, next question is coming from a City Councilwoman, Menchaca.
Thank you. Hello, Eric.
Hi, how you doing?
Thank you for stepping out, first of all. I did want to get clarification from staff. According to the notes here, Eric is not eligible for the Civil Service Commission because although you have a San Gabriel address, you're outside the city jurisdiction. Is that accurate? So we can at least move forward with accurate information.
That is correct. He would have to be a resident of the city, San Gabriel Incorporated.
Okay, Eric. So next to civil service, what would be the second commission that you would prefer? I have here listed in the notes, design review and then historical preservation and cultural resource commission. What would be your next choice?
Well, the cultural, I think would have been my second option, only like I stated earlier, was for the sheer fact that, I do have a lot of pride and respect for the city and appreciate that, the community that we have here and just the diversity. And there's just so much that San Gabriel has to offer. And I just want to be a part of it. And I think that that's something that I'd like to do moving forward.
I do remember you from before, and I remember
Yes.
that pride. You were just, just glowed. It was flowing out. So, so thank you for that. I know you're only probably a block from the city, actual city jurisdiction, but I can tell you have a real love for the city, and that is something I personally feel is important for
Yeah.
this preservation.
And,
And
yeah, and if I can in the future, I'll move 2 blocks if I have to, to
there's
help
no
my eyes.
residency. Yeah, there's no residency requirement for that
Yeah.
commission. So,
Mhm.
so you're okay on that one. Have you had an opportunity to watch any of the commission meetings for that particular one? They're streamlined. You can also go on YouTube. I just thought I would ask the
Yeah,
question.
in the last few months with probably the whole year or two, with the whole COVID and a lot of the union work that I was doing, I was kind of limited to the time that I can. But I do get the alerts when the different meetings are on. I try to catch as much as possible. So I'm trying to be up to speed.
Okay, no. So now if we focus on the Historic Preservation and
Yes.
Cultural Resource Commission, it's a long name. Was there anything else that you might want to share with us that would make you a good fit for that commission?
Yeah, I just hope that the pride that I have, the want to be a part of the city in a way where I can help, promote and advertise and just, better everything as a whole. I mean, I think I may have mentioned before, my son was the one that kind of mentioned it one day that, he sees me as a good dad and he thinks I could be, a good, at the time he was like president, or why don't you run for something for the city? And, that was kind of the aha moment where I should, funnel some of the energy that I've been doing with work and with the union aspect of my life to the city.
I remember that story very well, Eric. Thank you so much for being
No,
here.
thank you.
And that concludes my questions. Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Michaga. Next one is from our City Council member pool.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Eric. I echo a lot of the comments of Councilwoman Michaga. Thanks for applying and for being willing to serve on one of these commissions, and also thanks for your persistence and enthusiasm. Actually, Councilman Harrington and Councilwoman Michaga took my questions. I guess I maybe will just ask you to share a little bit more about your experience at Metro, and because you've mentioned also several times too being involved with the union. And so can you maybe just elaborate about the what the interplay between your participation and experience in the union and just your regular duties and responsibilities there at Metro? Yeah, well, my day-to-day duties or classification would be signal inspector. So I work for the light rail system as a signal inspector, and usually my coverage area is Pasadena to Azusa Citrus. So that's my day-to-day work. But I also was an elected shop steward for my department. So I take on the role of, making sure the collective bargaining agreement is followed, and, any grievances that an employee might have, I try to help facilitate, a resolution for things of that nature. Great. Thank you. So it sounds like you obviously have a leadership role within the union, and then do you also have a sort of a leadership or supervisorial role in terms of your just regular job duties? Yeah, well, I'm the senior most inspector at the location where I work out of Monrovia, but It's a hands-on job. It's a busy job. It's, you know, you get a lot of complaints from passerbys when those crossing gates are stuck down a little too long. So you just have to put on that smile and just do the best you can sometimes.
You know the feeling. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. So before I ask you the question, how's the ridership, for that light rail?
It's not doing too good right now. It's very low, but it's picking up 1% or 2 every month or so. It's just a matter of time, I guess. You know, it's just a matter of time for the businesses to pick up a little bit and the ridership, to pick up. But I mean, we went through some tough times, but we're still here. Fortunately, most of us are still here and still going to work every day, doing the best that I can.
So my question to you is, how do you see the relationship between historical preservation and also city planning, and how to encourage the economic development? Do you see they are in conflicts, or they're kind of work all together?
Well, I guess it's all a fine dance, right? You want to preserve the history and the culture and the originality that the city has, but you still want to move forward because the times do change. The younger generation may not always see eye to eye with the older generation, but there has to be a way to mesh the two together. Everything now is a snippet of an Instagram shot or 15-second video, but I think the city has a lot to offer, and I think we can keep up with the mainstream, with the new and still keep the beautification of the old. That's just how I see it myself.
Okay. All right. I like that answer. Okay, so that's all the questions from our city council member. And let me see the time. I think we still have some time. Do you want to have a closing comment?
No, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity, and however this may come, you'll probably still see me around every once in a while. I do want to be more active, and once things get open a little bit more, hopefully I can meet some of you in person and do a lot more volunteering as things move forward.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment. Thank you, Eric. So yeah, have a good night.
All right, you do the same. Thank you.
see you. Nice to see you. And first of all, I want to thank you for taking time and initiative to serve, and also appreciate
You're welcome.
your interest to be civically engaged.
Uh-huh.
And just a reminder, tonight's meeting is a live streaming on cable channel 3. So you're on TV and also on our online platforms.
Okay.
So yeah, we have 5 members, and we're going to ask you a question individually. But however, before we do that, we'll give you a couple of minutes, and just tell us something about yourself and why you.
Okay. Yeah. My name is George Liang, and my wife has a small restaurant on Las Tunas. Mr. Liao occasionally come to our restaurant, and I know Mr. Liao. The reason I put in my name on apply for the commission member, it was about 1 or 2 months ago. I received an email and from the cities talking about you have a different commission needs to need people to help, and this one, the title of this one is historic preservation and cultural resource. That's the title attract me, made me feel interesting about that. And back to talking about myself a little bit, I am an artist. My special art is taking those reactors, reactment for Civil War reactment, and cowboys performance, and some cowboy in the movie film, and they're all my friends and my models. I paint. See? So I have a thought, and since you are looking for historic preservation and culture resource, I'm thinking the city maybe need to create some activity event for the city.
Yes.
Because the city has a historic site in Los Angeles County, attract a lot of people for this grapevine and missions, and those are playhouse. That's beautiful historic site. And this is a historic site sit there. Actually, we need to do some more action, more attractions, and create some activities, create some event for the cities. That's what I'm thinking. So interesting. So since I have those models, those friends doing a cowboy performance and doing some Civil War reenactments, they're my long-term friends, and I think I can create some activity, have my friends come here to do some performance, to do some activities, maybe once a year, twice a year, during special holidays or independent days, or some kind of special holiday for the city. That's what I'm thinking. So I apply for these commission members. That's why I'm thinking. I don't know if I can help on this area.
Well, yeah, I like the idea, George. I think we can sort of promote our mission district through arts, with any kinds of art festival and with your artworks. I think that's wonderful. But anyway, there will be questions coming from other city council member. I think the first one is city council, Vice Mayor Dean. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Hi, George.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you to interesting apply the historical commissioner. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
Yes, like you say, you are artist, so you're also interested for the historical. But my question is, what do you see as the biggest challenge related to the preservation for the San Gabriel?
The biggest challenge, first of all, the biggest challenge is the size. It is the area. What area we should do those activities to promote our cities. And because some of the park inside St. Gabriel is not big enough to do some activities. And that's what I'm concerning about, because when we create some activity, some event, we need some bigger size. I try to thinking about the parks in the cities and the areas inside the mission and playhouse, the parking lot and the yard. I don't know if it is enough for those activities to create it. Besides to create activities, we can do some art performance and to create some art show in that area. I think that it doesn't need too big the size. The biggest challenge is the ground size to do those activities, to perform those activities. That's what I'm thinking. If I would like to help the city to do some events, and I'm looking for the size of the yard, the size of the ground, the size of the parking lot. That's the biggest challenge, I think.
Okay.
We have a manpower. There should be no problems.
So, did you have any like a vision regarding our historical mission district?
You are talking about historic mission. The size of a historic mission. I keep thinking about the size of the historic missions.
I mean, mission district.
Yeah, mission district.
Yeah.
The size of that is not wide enough, not big enough. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. All right. Thank you, George. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Next question is coming from Councilwoman Menchaca. She has
Yes, Councilmember Harrington.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Harrington. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, George, for stepping up and volunteering.
You're welcome.
So I would like to know regarding historic preservation, what type of experience you have in the past, if you've worked on any projects, or if you've been involved in anything preservation related.
Preservation. Talking about preservation, I do not have much experience, matter of fact.
Okay, so
I'm real estate brokers, but for those historic preservation, I don't have too much experience, and I can give some idea.
How about with cultural resources, as far as protecting cultural resources?
The coastal resource?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have experience about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I guess the next question is from Councilwoman Menchaca.
Yes. Hello, George. Thank you for being here and taking the time. I'm assuming the painting behind you is one that you drew. Is that one of your works of art?
Yeah, that's in the that's about 3 years ago. I was in Civil War reenactment down in Long Beach, Southern California areas. There's Huntington Beach, matter of fact, Huntington Beach Park. And there's some activities over there. I paint there. I'm artist.
Yes, yes, no, I got that part. Thank you, thank you. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me just start with, it's a two-part question. The first part is, have you ever watched or listened to any of the Historical Preservation and Cultural Resource Commission meetings? Because they are live streamed. That was my first question. And the second question is, besides being an artist, is there any other kind of expertise that you bring to the commission? Anything in particular that you think would really add to it's a 5-member commission. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us that maybe you haven't yet?
My experience, I do not have experience on that, really. I don't have experience, to be honest with you.
Okay, no, that's fine. I thought maybe there was something else. What about, have you ever watched any of the meetings that have taken place in the past?
Inside the City Hall?
Either inside City Hall or they're all live streamed and they're on YouTube videos. Have you had a chance to look at them?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you, George. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And another question is from City Council Member Pu.
Thank you, Mayor. And also thank you, George, for applying
You're
for
welcome.
the Historic Preservation and Cultural Resources Commission and being willing to serve. So as you may know, the San Gabriel mission is the 4th of all the California missions, founded in 1771. It's the birthplace of the LA County region and the oldest standing structure in all of LA County. I was wondering if, I was wondering if you had ever considered perhaps incorporating things from the mission into your artwork or into the activities that you're proposing.
Right. I participate in different art associations and in Southern California, and I would like to bring members and notice about all the activities in these cities in the historic side and create some interest focus in the city of San Gabriel in Los Angeles counties. And that's if I'm in the member, I will do something like that. I'm interested to associate with a different group in art and then bring them inside the cities. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, and I'm talking about associate with a different group. That's including those actor and reactors for Civil War and cowboy associations and parties and this and that.
I see. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, George. Before I ask you the real question, I was just curious, why are you interested in Civil War and cowboys? That's kind of unusual, right?
I don't know. I love history. I study histories. I look at some stories and reading stories, and I don't know. I'm an old timer, I think, and all my friends is doing history reenactments and including Victorian era in the histories, and people knows me, and because I participate in those activities, and if you want to know a little bit about myself, you can go to my Facebook. I have a Facebook. I associate with those people, and
wow.
And yeah, and do you have my Facebook or my art page? You can really look into that.
Oh,
You can explain a lot of things about that.
thank you. I think you're one of the famous artists, and maybe a celebrity with all these actors. But my real question is for you. You're a real estate broker, so what kind of a relationship that you think between the historical preservation and also maybe the new developments, bring in the economic developments? What kind of relationship is that?
I've been a real estate broker in Southern California for 39 years. I develop lands. I helping my client to do construction, and basically, I have a lot of basic knowledge about constructions, how to fix up, how to rebuild, how to build a new commercial building and mixed user buildings. And I have a very good knowledge about the building and how to develop and all the basic information and knowledge. I do have it based on my 39 years experience living in Southern California as a real estate broker.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think that's all the questions we have for you. And
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, applying for this position, and have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you. Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time and initiative to serve and appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. But I just want to remind you, tonight's meeting is a live stream on cable channel 3 and also on our online platforms. So yeah, later on, each city council will ask you a question individually. But before we do that, you want to tell us something about yourself first?
Sure. Just a little about myself. I have been a resident at San Gabriel for about 10 years. We moved here because, closer to work. Well, it was my first home after moving out of my mom's house. And since then, I have really fallen in love with the city and hope to stay here, hope to, just continue being a resident here. It's such a fun city to be around. It's so different than what I'm used to. And, little by little, as I finished school, as I got a little bit more job experience, I landed in a role that I feel would be beneficial to the position that is open in the Planning Commission. And I'm excited to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the first question is coming from our Vice Mayor Ding. Yeah, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you to apply to the Planning Commission for the community involvement. And my question is, what kind of the role do you think the Planning Commission plays in the help improvement the economic future of the city?
Well, I think it's very important because, when I think of planning, I think of the economic health of San Gabriel, opportunities in San Gabriel, like safety in San Gabriel. We want people to be here and to be happy to be here. We want to, balance the needs and the wants of the city, and I think that's very crucial to the overall health of San Gabriel. And I think it plays an important role because we need to think of everybody who's growing up here. It's very important to provide a happy place, right?
That's right.
Okay, yeah, because we're living here, that's meaning we want a happy place in the San Gabriel City. Thank you. All right, yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. So next question is coming from City Council Member Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Jocelyn, for applying. I wanted to see your view how for the overall quality of life and how the Planning Commission for the city can actually be involved in helping the community provide development that improves everyone's quality of life.
Okay, well, like I said, that type of stuff provides opportunity. And let me think about it. Just give me a minute. Let me see.
Like a good example, you have what type of projects that maybe you've seen in the past few years do you think shows a good development for the entire community? Like if there's any project that stick out.
Oh, for me, it has to be the parks. I love, because I have children, and we're at the parks at least 3 times a week right now. And so, you know, I always notice, you know, what is needed. I've always noticed, and the improvements that have been made and the new park that has been up, I think it's so wonderful and provides such a good family, you know, go-to. That, and also, you know, the new construction going on Del Mar and Valley. I actually pass by there quite often. I live on Del Mar actually. And so I think it's really, really awesome to build a like a business center for, you know, that provides opportunity for people here, and also invites business, you know, to businesses to be here, because, you know, hotels, and I think that's important, you know, part of the balance too, and for the overall happiness of us, right? We need to be balanced. We want to provide opportunity, and we want to provide, you know, a place to gather, and all these businesses provide that for people.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So another question is coming from Councilwoman Menchaca.
Hi, Jocelyn. Thank you for stepping up this evening and applying to this commission. We appreciate residents who make that step. I have it's a two-part question. The first part is, have you ever watched or attended or listened to a planning commission meeting? Second, it's a 5-member commission. What particular expertise do you think you bring to the commission?
Okay, no, I have not listened into a planning commission. You know, that's something I should definitely have planned on, and I regret to say no, but I have not. But right now I am employed at MRCA. We are a land conservation company, and although I'm not part of the planning department, I do at times work with them. You know, our planning department, we focus on parks and trails and you know, land, keeping it beautiful and safe and clean, and although I'm not a part of that team, I feel like a lot of that information has rubbed off on me, and that mixed with, you know, my real estate, you know, background, I think really provides a great opportunity for me to kind of blend those two things, and you know, a little bit of everything else that, you know, that I know, or that I am interested in. I could really provide something good for the planning commission. You know, I think I'm open to learning new things, and open to, you know, showing what I can suggest in each, you know, project that comes across my way. And yeah, and that's how I feel.
Great. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. So another question, of course, from our council member Pooh.
Thank you, Mayor, and nice to meet you, Jocelyn. Thank you for applying and for being willing to serve on this commission. Actually, you know, my colleagues took all the questions that I had, so I'll just ask about your role there at the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority. You work with a lot of different agencies through that position, and I was wondering if any of those, if you ever had the opportunity to work on anything for the San Gabriel Mountains, now that they've been also declared, I think, a national monument.
No, I have not worked with the San Gabriel Mountains. Right now, in particular, I'm working on a big Chino Hills acquisition. But my role there is real estate officer, and I facilitate all of the real estate transactions. So anything we are purchasing, donations, sales, easements, and different types of easements, agriculture easements, conservation easements, and or encroachments. And my job is to really facilitate those transactions, to get all the paperwork together, make sure everybody understands the policies and what paperwork is needed. I'm really I also play a liaison between our our attorneys and all these agencies who require things. I'm kind of the one that's like, okay, we need this, and I'm familiar with all the paperwork, so I review everything, and then I give my 2 cents, and then these attorneys give the final word, and then I communicate with the owners, the donors, the sellers, the buyers. That is my role there.
Right. Yeah, sounds like you're a transaction coordinator and maybe somewhat of an escrow officer too.
I totally agree. Yes.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Well, this is a very interesting job. So what kind of why they want to purchase land in those mountain area? What do you have a restriction for their developments or no?
No, we're all, our goal, our mission is to conserve the land in California. So we mostly do not develop on our lands, and no, we I would say like 90% of the time we don't develop or not. We just keep it clean. We do maintenance on it, and these particular ones, State Parks is interested in taking them on. So we just, sometimes we attempt to save land from developers, to keep, that certain area, undeveloped.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and especially we have so many wildfires in those areas. So keep out the new developments. But my question for you is, what do you think the biggest challenge in planning for the city of San Gabriel?
The biggest challenge in general for the city of San Gabriel?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's well, over the past few years, a big thing for me has been safety.
Mm.
And I believe San Gabriel has done a good job at doing the best it can, and I believe that maybe that's not the biggest one, but that's one of the biggest. I'm always I'm always on the news and reading the articles and things like that, maybe just in my area. But I think that's one of the biggest things. And another thing, I would say maybe I don't know, affordable housing.
I see.
I am a renter, and one thing for me is I want to stay in San Gabriel, but it's very expensive to own here, as I'm sure everybody knows, and that's a big challenge for us, because as we move on and get ready to buy a home, it's like, what are we going to do? Where are we gonna go? And I want to stay here, and it's expensive. So that's another thing. It's maybe provide more affordable housing here, because I feel in general in LA it's definitely going up, but I think that's very important.
I agree. Thank you, Jocelyn. So I think the time is pretty much up. So I don't think we have any more questions for you, but thank you for your interest in applying for this commission. And thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night. First of all, I want to thank you, for taking time and initiative to serve, and I appreciate your interest to be civically engaged. Just to remind you, tonight's meeting is a live stream on cable channel 3 and also our live platforms. So you can ask, you can ask Mary watching on channel 3.
I think she's watching the movie right now, and I think she'd rather watch the movie.
So tonight, all 5 city council members will ask your question individually. But before we do that, I want to give you time to sort of give, self-introduction and let us know something about yourself. So.
Well, I'm currently a resident here. We just built a brand new home at 641 DeSales Street.
Wow.
In case you don't know where that is, it's very close to the Church of Our Savior. And I see Samantha on there, and I know she helped out quite a bit, and I appreciate that, Samantha. It was a long ordeal. We purchased the place in November of 2019, and we moved in about 2 months ago.
Wow, well, congratulations.
Thank you. We built the house. I'm very proud of it. I hope one of these days some of you or all of you have a chance to come down and see the place. And we're hoping that it's a great addition to the community.
Yeah, I think I saw that house when the old owner was having an open house, right? And I ran into you and Mary. But anyway.
It looks nothing like it anymore. I'm just going to tell you right now. We gutted the place out. Right? We gutted it, everything. There's nothing there except for probably a few walls.
Good. Good. So, yeah, I think the first question is coming from Vice Mayor Dean, and he has a question for you.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi,
Hello.
Stan. Hello. Thank you to apply the planning commission. Okay, my question is, what kind of role do you think the planning commission helping improve the economic future for our city?
I think what I'd like to say regarding the economic future of the city is, I think the Planning Commission is vitally important because of the fact that I think we can give some direction, hopefully, to the developers. Just to give you a real quick background, I've actually served previously as a planning commissioner for 10 years in Alhambra when I was living there. So at that time was kind of the heyday when we were going through the renaissance of Alhambra, which I'm very proud of because I think many of us were quite involved at that time. I think, and I know that San Gabriel can do the same if they wish to. And it's just a matter of having a desire of, I suppose, the Planning Commission along, and more than anybody else is the City Council. And the mayor and the City Council need to really be on that, kind of have a focus regarding that. And I think we can all work together and hopefully we'll do the same things as at that time when the city of Alhambra was going through that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So next question is from City Council Member Harrington.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Stan, for applying. I appreciate that. I wanted to know, because you do have, looks like quite a bit of experience on the Planning Commission Alhambra. What do you think for the overall quality of life in San Gabriel, how we can, like you said, guide the developers to improve quality of life for everyone, not just the people that are going to live at the development, but everyone else, the neighbors and people that may use the businesses and just, the surrounding community?
I think there's a lot of things that, as a planning commissioner, we can do. I think one of the things that I've always done, I do this, and I've lived here in San Gabriel now for close to 5 years. And one of the things that I do is I walk. I have a little dog, and we walk every day for about an hour to an hour and a half. And I've walked all over, I would say at least the northern part of San Gabriel. And I do this 7 days a week. And I think it gives me a better perspective when you're walking the streets of what the neighborhood is like and what different neighborhoods are like within this region. Each area is separate as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I've walked on the southern part. It's different from the northern part. It's different from the eastern part, the western part. I mean, each area is quite unique. And I think it's very important to keep the character of those areas. And for the most part, I think San Gabriel has done a good job, but I think there's certain times that I said, gee, why did they allow that to happen? I'm sorry, that's what I noticed. And so that's part of the thing that if you select me as a planning commissioner, I think I'm going to try my very best to keep that integrity of those neighborhoods.
Like just keep the sense of place. Yeah, I get
Exactly.
it. Yeah, I get it. And I do appreciate the fact I've probably seen you walking. I'm sure I have, because I walk my dog every day too, both my dogs.
I think that's a good thing to do. Walk your dog. It'll give you a good sense of the community.
My dog's good for about 20 miles a day, so I can't outlawk him.
It's funny.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And next question is from Councilwoman Menchaca.
Hi, Stan.
Hello there, Denise.
Thank you for stepping up. And I wanted to also attest that the fact that the house, your house, is not only a great addition to San Gabriel, but a great addition to my neighborhood. You're right down the street from me. and I watched that very carefully. So there was completely different. You guys did a very good job. So thank you for doing that. You know, we also have a commissioner serving currently who also served in Alhambra. So on the planning commission. And so kind of interesting how both of you are kind of transferred over to San Gabriel. But anyway, my question is a two-part question. The first part is, have you either watched or listened to a planning commission meeting? Because they are live streamed and then they have the YouTube videos for viewing later. And then for the city of San Gabriel. And then the second part of that question is, as one of 5 members on that commission, what particular expertise do you think you bring or you would be able to bring to the planning commission if elected?
First off, I have not watched any of the planning commission meetings. But I'm very familiar with the planning commission meetings that I was involved with for 10 years. So I'm kind of assuming that in some respects, there's some similarities. I think the thing that I felt very proud of when I was serving in Alhambra in particular, and this was during the time when our city manager was Julio Fuentes. And I have great respect for Julio because of the fact that he was really, really concentrated on the directive from the city council to take care of the commercial areas. And that's really was his main thing. And I think because of that, he and I had a very good relationship. And so we discussed things quite a bit in depth, probably almost on a weekly basis, actually. And so when you ask that question, Denise, I think my main focus at that time was on commercial development. And I think I really started to understand commercial development quite a bit more than the residential side. And though later I got more involved with the residential side, but I think it's, I guess if there's a strength, that would be my strength, is in the commercial side. But at the same time, as I mentioned, walking my dog, I really do understand the neighborhoods, I think, fairly well. And I think that's really important also.
Let me just ask a little follow-up question. I know for Alhambra, their commission, their planning commission seems a little bit convoluted. Is it like a 20-member commission? I mean, it's a very large, it's much larger than ours.
It is. It's 10. It's 10 people.
Okay.
And I think in a way, I like the way you folks are looking for commissioners with the 5 city council people looking at the different candidates. Over there, they do it a little bit differently. They appoint, each one gets to appoint 2. It's the only commission that has 10 people on it. So I think in some respects, I like your method better. And this is a little tough for me to say because I like the people that I work with and I like the people that the council people at that time. But it's a little bit political at times, a little bit too political, I think. And I think it's good to take input from the city council, obviously, but if you're a city council person that appointed you says, I want this, you really don't have much choice in the matter. So I answered that question the way you wanted to hear it, but that's the way I looked at it.
I appreciate your honesty, Stan. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the streets with my dogs too. We're all going to run into each other, Harrington and myself and you. So anyway, thank you so much, Stan.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And another question is from Council Member Pooh.
Thank you, Mayor. And hi, Stan. It's good to see you. Thank you for applying and for being willing to serve on our planning commission. And feel free to, feel free to give us props over Alhambra any day. So I guess my question would be, looking at some of the, or you may not be, or I guess my question is, are you familiar with any of the new developments that are currently under construction now? Many of which are, or I would say probably most of them are along Valley Boulevard.
I am to a certain degree, but I'm not really super involved because it's not something I would be actually.
Yeah.
But I
no,
do know some of the developers that are doing those developments. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going to ask, if there's any of the current developments that you particularly like or don't like, and why. But if obviously it'd be hard if you haven't had the opportunity to really look at the design and or the square footages, height, massing, all that stuff that you would consider, or environmental, review of any of the current projects yet. So
I never got that much into any of those because I don't think it was my time to do that. It wasn't the right thing to do, but I do know some of the developers that are developing it. I think it's wonderful that the city has these new developments taking place. You had a question about, when you mentioned massing, okay, massing to me is a very important issue. And I'll tell you, I think in a way that along the major corridors, massing is all right. I just have a difficulty, especially when I see it in the residential areas where the massing is done improperly. And that's what I meant a little while ago when I mentioned that about some of the property that I saw that went up. I think the massing is incorrect. That was my take on it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how, especially if you have it on both sides of a street, it creates a sort of canyon or valley effect there that's a little bit, feels a little closed in to a certain extent. But yeah, thank you. But I assume those are all the types of issues you dealt with in Alhambra on the Alhambra Planning Commission.
We dealt with that quite a bit, actually, and massing is a very, very important question to ask and to be cognizant of. Because if not, as you know, developers, what they're going to do is they're going to go for the maximum. And the maximum means maximum massing.
Right. Great. Thank you for your responses.
Thank you, Stan. So I just have a question. Just curious. During your service as a planning commissioner in Alhambra, was during the redevelopment agency, because it took almost 20-some years to transform Main Street, to nowadays. So was it at the right timing you were there, or what's?
Well, absolutely. It was the time when I was there. Yes. When you had redevelopment powers, it gave you a lot more leeway in terms of being able to do a lot of those types of items. It's a little more difficult now, but at the same time, I think there are some areas that you can do that hopefully you have to have a joint cooperation with the developers, without a doubt. I think in the old days, you could kind of dictate to them a lot more than you can now. But at the same time, there's no doubt that San Gabriel is an area that developers want to develop. They really do. I mean, you can see it just from what you see out there right now, and I'm happy to see that. Now, the trick of it is for the city to kind of guide them so there's a uniform look to the entire projects. And I think that's what I'd like to see from a commercial point, is a little bit more of a uniform look along Valley Boulevard in particular. But hey, that's a tough one, that's for sure.
Well, I kind of agree with you, because Alhambra has a a bigger project, for instance, the Valley and Garfield, the whole complex. But San Gabriel is, because it's only 4 square miles, and a lot of the developers, they only can purchase, a very small parcel of land, and maybe that's one of the challenges for us, city planning commission, how we can bring all these development projects together as one, but that's hard, but anyway, appreciate your interest in serving this planning commission. Anything else you want to tell us more, and that's pretty much it?
Well, I think one of the things that I wanted to ask, and maybe I should know this, and I should have delved into it a little bit more, but does the city have a kind of like a 20-year plan, or, for the development of the different corridors that you're looking to develop? I mean, can somebody answer that question for me? Do you have a general plan?
We do, and we have a specific plan, and near the Mission District, or our community development manager, Armane, she's also with this interview. Maybe Armane, you want to answer his questions?
Absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Stan, to answer your question, we certainly do. We do have a general plan. We also have several specific plans in our community, including the Mission District specific plan, the Valley Boulevard specific plan. And I would say for the most part, a lot of the development that we see happening in the city in some way, shape, or form is related to a plan. We are currently also in the process of updating the housing element of our general plan, which really sets the footprint for where we are in meeting our housing needs, and also plans for housing for the future. So a lot of the things we've got going on, there is some sort of a strategy behind it. There's a plan behind it. And in the next several months, we're going to be hearing quite a bit about all this as we're updating the housing element by the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The reason I want to bring that up in particular is that what we did, and I think it's really important, was we followed the general plan. And I think everybody was behind it. And as long as everybody's behind it, you can accomplish it. That I'm very, very sure about. It's only when people don't, decide to not follow the plan or divert from this and go to this other one, that's when it gets really, really tricky. And so I'm glad you guys have this plan and you're developing further ones. And I'm looking forward, being a citizen here of the community. I mean, we certainly didn't build this house for a short-term stay. I plan on being here for the rest of my life. And I'm very, very happy to live where I'm living. And Denise, I appreciate you telling me that you like the house. And I'd like to think that we've added to the neighborhood, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I wanted to be a city planning commissioner. I wanted to bring that element along with me for this.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stan. Thank you for applying for this planning commissioner position. So I think we're going to take a break, and we'll let you know.
Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing all of you folks again. Bye.
Bye. Bye. So we have concluded the interviews, and now take a 15 minutes recess, during which each council member is requested to select their candidates for each commission. And right now the time is 9:31. How about we'll come back 9:45 p.m. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So just fill out the forms and see who you'd like to pick. And we'll see you at 9:45. Thank you. Thank you. I think there's some noises in the background. Yeah, I am sure our city council member already filled out the form, the candidates that we like. Who wants to go first?
I think there's some clarifying questions, Mayor.
Yes.
So, Mark, can you clarify about the 1 year?
I'd be happy to, Councilwoman Menchaca, and thank you, Vice Mayor, or Mayor Lee, excuse me, and members of the council. So one quick item and then a question for the City Council. So we do have on your sheets that you're filling out for the Civil Service Commission, the first line on that is a 1 year term because we've had a vacancy on that commission for several years. And we stagger our commissions so that we don't have a full turnover of the commission at any one time. So that vacancy that was already there was a 1 year term that was left over. It was originally a 2 year term from last year, but it was vacant since last year. So when you reappoint commissioners for the Civil Service Commission, you'll be choosing whether you want all of the appointees to be in the 2 year terms or whether you want to put somebody in a 1 year term and then look at them again next year. For the Historic Preservation Commission, and I've asked staff about this and nobody remembers the reasoning for why this was put in the ordinance. So maybe council can remember, and if not, I can propose a suggestion. But the ordinance that was originally adopted for the Historic Preservation Commission for the creation of that whole program had a term limit of 4 years for Historic Preservation Commissioners. It's the Historic Preservation and Cultural Resources Commission, but just for brevity, I call it the Historic Commission. So that there were incumbents on there that have already served for 3 years. So if you reappoint those, they will only have 1 year left on their 4 year term. So my question for council is, if anybody remembers if there was a purpose for that 4 year term limit, and if there is that purpose, or if it was just a carryover from something we borrowed from somebody else's ordinance, if that purpose still is valid and we need to continue with that, or would you like staff to bring back a amendment to the Historic Preservation Ordinance at a future meeting that would allow commissioners to have longer terms and not be limited by that 4 year term? And that might be something that changes in the future. If the Historic Preservation Commission gets up and running with districts and projects and all of that, it might be a little different. But I would say that the commissioners who have been on the commission for the last 3 years have barely begun to do the work that they need to do. And so it would be helpful to have some continuity on that commission. So I would suggest that if we don't do it permanently, perhaps we do it for this first round of commissioners. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or we can start the process of going council member by council member.
Thank you, Mark. So do we need a motion to change that? Remove that 4 years term and say whatever we pick tonight is 2 years term.
So whatever we pick tonight will be 1 year term for the Historic Preservation Commission, because we can't change that tonight. But if I can get direction from council informally, but 3 of you have the desire to bring that back, it would be a future agenda item with a staff report and a draft ordinance for consideration.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'll do this, by the same order that we were asking questions. Yeah, Vice Mayor Ding, you want to tell us what you picked? First one, I think it's the civil service.
Civil service. So actually, civil service right now we only have 3 candidates, right? Not like I would say the 4 candidates.
Unfortunately, for civil service, we only have 2 because Mr. Urania lives outside of the city, and that commission has a requirement that you have to be a resident. He's okay for the 2 other commissions he applied for, but not for the Civil Service Commission.
Okay. I so actually for the sheet is to say please select the 4 candidates. We have the that's meaning we have the 4 position to open. Is that meaning right? And only right now, based on the current the explanation, it's only 2, right?
So assuming, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So Mr. Eccleston will continue on that commission, and then you will choose 2 others. One of which is the incumbent, Mr. Carney.
Okay. Yeah. I pick up the both of them, Doug and George, for the both. I think it can qualify the 2-year term, right?
And can I ask, council, is there anybody that disagrees with that, so we don't have to go through the Civil Service Commission anymore? Is there anybody that has a problem with those 2?
No, we pick the same people.
Perfect. So Vice Mayor Ding, we're on to Community Services Commission.
So everything I'm first. Okay. All right. Okay. For the
And so as you're looking for your notes, Vice Mayor Ding, we have a similar situation where we have 3 applicants for 3 spots.
Yeah. Okay. For me, yeah, it's a 3 spots. Really, applicant. Yeah, all the 3 of them, I pick it up. Yeah.
So anybody from the council have disagreement with that? Okay. Moving on to the Design Review Commission.
Okay. Design Review Commission total have the 4 candidate, right? 2 incumbent, right?
For that one, we have actually 5 candidates, and
Oh,
we
five,
have,
5, yeah, 5 candidate, 5
Yeah.
candidate.
and 2 spots.
Oh, design commissioner, it's not the mandatory for the resident, right?
You're correct.
So, yeah, okay. Okay, this one, I think maybe because for me, it's I just bring out the question because for me, it's I don't have chance to really like talk to the incumbent, the commissioner. So maybe I hope the rest of the council member and all the staff give me some advice,
So would you like to have one of the other council members go first for that
Yeah.
item?
Yes. Mhm.
Hi, Mark, and Mayor. I'm good with the incumbents actually with the design review. I mean, I remember last year's interviews or 2 years ago, so I'm good with both incumbents.
Sounds good.
I agree.
Okay,
Okay.
feel the same way. So yeah, we pick the incumbents.
Okay, that sounds like we have consensus there.
Mhm.
So we're moving on to Planning Commission.
I think the same thing for me. So I just pass to the rest of the council member.
So for that, we have 2 spots and we have 4 candidates. And Councilman Harrington, do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I have. I want to keep one and change one. So I wanted to keep a Nog, and I like Stan. That's my choices.
Yeah, I second to that. Anon and Stan.
So I will respectfully disagree and stick with the incumbents for the Planning Commission also. One of the things that was mentioned at the beginning when we were talking about historic preservation was continuity. And of course, this past year being COVID, you know, it's been very difficult for all of us. I think for the commissions, especially also, and especially because I think we have so many projects ongoing right now. I feel like, you know, there's even in a way, COVID has created an even greater need for continuity. So I would prefer to keep the two incumbents, both Anag Mamdapur and Jerry Schwartz. That would be my preference. All up to you, Tony.
Vote.
No
you-
pressure.
No pressure.
For me, it's tough, but I just wanted the staff the experience, because I know that it's some I you know why I'm asking, because I know that a lot of plants already have the existing planning to agree to moving forward, but they're still not finished yet. So yeah, so maybe staff have give me some idea to it's keep the incumbent, or
I think Vice Mayor Ding, we're going to be politically correct on this and say there's no wrong answer on this one, because Mr. Schwartz has been a great commissioner, and for all the reasons council said, having that continuity, he's somebody that has been involved in long before I got here. Armenie's worked with him since she was here, and he's been involved in some very large projects that have been on the books for several years. But on the other hand, it sounds like Mr. Yamamoto could step into that role as well. Yamamoto, excuse me, he could step into that role as well and has that experience and could probably get up to speed. So unfortunately, this is going to be a decision that there's not a wrong answer to, but it's your answer to choose.
Yeah, okay. For me, it's yeah. Pardon me?
Was that wishy-washy enough?
Okay. the stance, it's also, yeah, give me an impress too, you know. So for me it's a little bit tough. Okay. Oh, okay.
If I may I add another point?
Okay.
You know, part of the reason why I did ask Stan if he was familiar with the current projects that we have going on in the city is precisely because to see if, you know, he had at least a little bit of familiarity, that so he could hit the ground running. But you know, it's not really fair in a way, because he obviously has had no previous reason or need to look at any of the designs or plans of the current projects, but because they are ongoing and there's so many other things in the works. Armine mentioned, you know, the fact that our housing element is being updated. Our general plan does need to be updated. So many other things. RENA numbers are, you know, just came out as well that will go into that housing element. That's part of the reason why I think I favor keeping the incumbents in place. And also, I do think that the balance of the expertise of the current commissioners is a nice one that, you know, I think that would be, you know, in the best interest of the city to maintain those the expertise of those folks that are currently there. So, and of course, Mayor Liao or Councilmember Harrington, if you'd like to rebut or you know, then or lobby for Stan, who's also, you know, well qualified, but he just hasn't had the benefit of the experience and knowledge that the current commissioners have.
I wouldn't say rebut, but I just liked some of Stan's answers. I like the fact he was very open and transparent about what was good about Alhambra, what was bad about it. I think he's got great experience. It shows good judgment that he's just, he just said, you know, I don't want to be under pressure from council. I want to do what's best for the city, and that's why I moved here. So that's kind of why I liked his answers. That was just, I mean, I think either one is fine, but I like some of the work they did in Alhambra. I know it's a different era in a different city, but I like it. Thank you. There you go, Tony. You get the easy job today.
Okay, the tough job. But
So,
yeah,
Tony,
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Councilmember Ding, Councilmember
Yeah.
Ding, this Councilwoman Denise.
Okay.
I also wanted to. I know it's kind of difficult for you because you don't, you met Stan this evening. Maybe you knew him before, and I don't know if you know Jerry Schwartz because you weren't part of the interviewing process. I mean, if you're really struggling, maybe we need to schedule another interview. I know it's more time for staff and all that, but if you can't make a decision and you need to do an interview, you think it would be important, that's also an option. I'm just trying to help you in some way. But, oh, and then Armine has her hand up, so I guess you have some advice too, Armine?
I just want to add one bit of information. I completely agree with Mark. This is a council decision. But I think if we're comparing the expertise of the different applicants, I think in all fairness to our incumbents, it is important for me to mention that Jerry Schwartz actually does have significant redevelopment background. And I recall when he originally applied and was appointed to the commission, one of the skills that he brought was actually an extensive amount of experience he previously had working at the city level in redevelopment and economic development. Definitely, I think Stan made some really good comparisons in the experience he has in some of the projects that he's seen. I do think that in all fairness to our existing commissioners, it's important to mention that Jerry has come up in the redevelopment world, and I know that's his area of expertise as well. I just wanted to make that addition for discussion purposes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, by this situation, I just want to bring up, okay, because only for me, it's just last year you elected. So existing commissioner, the incumbent, hopefully for the future, I don't know, we still have the chance to interview, but right now the COVID-19, but hopefully for the future have face-to-face. Okay. But tonight, I think it's short. Okay, so I voted for 2 incumbent.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that's the vote from the council, and so we'll pick the 2 incumbents. That's the Jerry Schwartz and Anand Madhakapur. Yeah. All right. So next one, we're gonna pick on the Historic Preservation and Cultural Resource Commission.
It's for me, it's also the same thing. 2 incumbent, 2 additional. But okay. By the way, the historical is also it's not required for the San Gabriel resident, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So I still give me let me know the rest of the council, give me some idea,
Thank you. Mayor, I have the 2 incumbents, and then it's kind of a toss-up. I kind of like both their stories, but I think Eric might be a little better simply because he seems like he has a little more interest in San Gabriel and what's going on here. So I'll choose Eric as the 3rd choice.
So you pick,
Mayor?
yeah.
Mayor, I think I'm next, right? Am I next?
No, wait, let Councilmember Hampton say all these 3 that he picked.
Oh, I thought he did. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, the 2 incumbents and then Eric Arena.
Oh, okay. Which 2 incumbents that you picked? Because there are 3 expiring.
I thought only 2 applied. Did all 3 reapply?
No, only 2.
So you're correct. So yeah, only 2 reapplied.
So which 2 applied?
Eric Weeks and Senya Lubasic.
Okay, so Eric Weeks and Sonia.
Eric.
Yeah. Okay, so Councilwoman Menchaca, what's your picks?
I agree with Councilmember Harrington, Senya and Eric Reeks as the incumbent. And I would like that to be brought forward at some future council meeting to change the terms. And then Eric Urena, both great candidates, but I think Eric definitely, I think this is his place. I know he shows such enthusiasm, but he really has the heart for the historical side. And I think he would just be a really valuable member of that commission. And so for that reason, I pick Eric. So the two incumbents, Senya Lubridge and Eric Reeks, and then the new candidate, Eric Urena.
Okay. How about Councilmember Pu?
I agree with Councilwoman Menchaca, and in addition with her stated reasons. So Senya Lubisic and the two Erics.
Okay. So we already got 3 votes. And yeah, I also vote for those 3. I didn't know that Angela Acosta didn't apply. So there are 2 incumbents and then 1 new applicant. So that's what I come up with. So I
Okay.
want to hear from you too.
Yeah, I thank all of your council member the suggestion, but yeah, for me, the Eric looks like it's so the Eric, how do the pronounce the last name? Urena, right? Or like okay, he looks like it's a very have the enthusiasm and the passion to service our community. So yeah, I agree. I voted for him too. Yeah.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve all these appointments to the commission.
And Mayor Liao, we don't need to do any votes tonight because we'll bring this back at a future night for a formal vote. I think we have everybody. The only thing we need is the direction on that Historic Preservation Commission. I heard from Councilwoman Menchaca. Do we have 2 others that request that as well?
Yes, yeah. I agree with removing the term limits on the, I cannot recall what, if any, purpose or policy reason there was to have term limits for that commission.
Yeah, I don't remember either. There's, 4 years term. I don't remember that.
Can we find out?
We will check the minutes from that meeting to see if there was discussion on that. But if not, or we can provide those minutes when we bring the item back.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
All righty. Thank you, guys. You did a wonderful job. So yeah, the meeting is adjourned. So till next regular city council meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.